a podcast where you don't need an invite to join the conversation. Welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat.
All right, can you hear me? I think so. Let me wanted to put this on before I recorded and literally forgot. So, put a little lip something on. Yeah, I'm obsessed with like lip balms and things, so it's my favorite. By the way, we have a new table. Did you see? Yay. If you're watching the video. Yeah, I have been looking for a table to put back here because the one that I previously had, I just knew I wasn't going to keep it in here long term. But anyways, I found this one, and my sister was out thrifting and finding things, and she snagged it and got it. So here it is. Now it's in my home, so I'm very happy about it. I am thankful that y'all are here, though. I know that this is a topic that needs to be discussed and talked about, but y'all have been asking a lot of questions. Honestly, on all of my short form videos, I get asked 1,000 questions about my experience with taking Tirzepatide.
Listen, we have some sponsors for the podcast, and it is my husband's company. Now listen, he does so much, and he said to me in our last episodes that we had, he was like, you know, ProLink should be a part of an ad. And I was like, you know what, you're right, it really should. So let's put it all in here. So obviously the podcast is hosted by like us. We do all the things, and when it comes to equipment, and like we don't have like anybody helping support it. So our companies are always going to be a part of the conversation here. And I want you to know about his company. So ProLink Fence is a North Carolina, like commercial residential fence company. So you can go to prolinkfencenc.com, but in over 24 years of experience. Now this is what they offer is residential fencing. So of course that is like at your home, any type of fence style or design that you've ever wanted, or know a conversation that's going on for somebody, like y'all can reach out and get an estimate. Or commercial fencing, so businesses and places like that. And he did like a building. Listen, they've done so much work, but in downtown Charlotte, there's a high-rise restaurant that they did like a fence, like to just help with like outside seating. So like anything, and then inside like NASCAR Hall of Fame, like they've done all this fence work like inside there. So they just do a lot of like really cool work, but it could be big or small. Temporary fencing, so many people get that done just to like get up something in the meantime before they're having to, decide on what they want permanently, or even farm fencing. So they do a lot. My personal recommendations for you is to go to their website, no matter where you live, and ask for a quote or just start the conversation, and they will provide all the proper information that you need. So if you were ever wondering what my husband did, that is what he does. So that is prolinkfencenc.com. That is prolinkfencenc.com. Just because it's North Carolina does not mean they cannot come to you, because they do travel. So anyways, that is that, and you can see pictures online, and it's really beautiful. So thank you, ProLink Fence, for all the support for the pod. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Which is a GLP-1, and it is compounded through a pharmacy that I get out of like Colorado area. That is where I get mine, and it just gets shipped to my home. I can virtually speak to a doctor online, have conversations back and forth. I can actually get on the phone if I need to. That is where I get mine. And I'm going to just start y'all from the beginning, because I think that from the questions that I hear from y'all, that y'all are very curious about a lot of things. And yes, I do share a lot, but you have to go back and watch like every short form video that I've created around this, which a lot of y'all have watched every single one of them because you've communicated that to me. And I am like so grateful and thankful, because I do share a lot. And sometimes I forget what I share, to be honest, because it's such in the moment. And I documented my experience because I personally wanted to go back to see the transformation. I was in a really, I don't want to say a negative space with my body or my health, but I was in a very trying space. Let's just say that. I was experimenting with carnivore diet, and the word diet to me gets thrown around very loosely because I find that dieting is a few weeks or a few months. It's like a short term thing. For me, it's a lifestyle. So I've done these things trying to figure out, is this the lifestyle I want to live? And by doing that, I'm just going to tell you. So yeah, I did carnivore for a minute most recently when I went back on meat. Previously to that, I was vegan and didn't do vegan because of a health reason. I did it because of how meat grossed me out, honestly, and I just didn't want to be exposed to it. So I went 5 years with just literally having a plant-based lifestyle. And I think my weight at that time was always between the 135 to 140-ish pushing. I never hit 145 when I was doing that, never 150 or anything like that. So, and that was 35 years old, almost 34, 34, 35 when I started that. And because I went back on meat when I was 39, and I went back on meat because I started gaining weight. And also, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed at 27 years old. And I noticed that I didn't have as tight of control over my blood sugar regulations. I couldn't regulate my blood sugar very well. And I was struggling with that mentally and physically. It was just affecting me in many ways. And your day to day, you kind of ignore stuff, but over time you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually really insane. And so I just went through a lot of health stuff is basically what I'm trying to tell you, because I think you're going to listen to this and just think one day I woke up and decided to start a GLP-1, and that was not the case. Also, within those 5 years, I went to a wellness center. Maybe it was definitely less than a handful of times. One of my best friends worked there at one location, went to another location. Now she's doing some other things with healthcare, and she's doing great. But I say all that because she really introduced me, and she's also a type 1. She introduced me to the peptide world and what that looks like, and just generalizing information. But honestly, that type of world to me, because if you're not in it, it can be very mentally exhausting. You just feel, I don't know, there's so many options, I don't know what to do. And my personality is I have to take it in a bite size and let me master one thing, and then we can add on two. Because if I start trying to do everything at one time, I am going to fail. I am not going to succeed at any of them. I'm going to be struggling. And so I wanted to take my health very seriously. My conversation with anyone was blood sugar regulation and build muscle, but also lose weight. Weight was the last thing that I would say, because I wasn't unhappy with my weight. I just knew I had a few pounds I wanted to lose. And I was like, it's kind of weird that I'm holding this weight. I don't understand it. And you might think between 130, 135-ish to 140-ish is not a lot, but excuse me, guys, but for my body type and for what I'm used to is a lot. But I wasn't unhappy. It just wasn't my norm. And then I was 38, 39 years old. Our next sponsor is likebutta.com, and we are so appreciative of them because it's my brand. Yes. I put so much time and energy into this brand, and I just want to give you a little backstory on why it even is what it is. But there was a time that obviously I was consuming so much body care, and I became a little bit desperate, thinking, oh my gosh, when I run out, do I have anything in my kitchen that will allow me to make a body scrub to still get the same effect? So I started just
just doing a ton of R&D, which is, the research and development, which I'm obsessed with. So I wanted to look up great ingredients, something that was going to be effective, but not harm my skin, and that's something that can last and sit in my shower. And so that is where Like Butter began. So I am so happy and proud of it, but I want you to kind of have a little insight on it. We have created these bags, and they're a reset bag. So they're just great and compact. So you can take them anywhere you need, but I wanted them so you kind of had all your favorite things in a small bag. And I put the body butter, our body scrub, and a bar soap in here. And listen, our bar soap has poppy seeds in it, so it already gives your skin like a really gentle exfoliation. But the butter is really great after your shower, or even like during the day, to hit like the high parts of your body, like, your knees or your elbows or things like that, or like your chest, to kind of give you a little glow without being sticky. And then in the shower, using the scrub, I feel like I use my scrub at least like 4 to 5 times a week. Like, I just like to do my armpits and like some of the rougher areas, but a good all over when I'm doing like a full body shower, I'm like all day long, I'm obsessed with it. But having something that's low ingredients, but also effective ingredients that won't irritate your skin are really great. But I know so many people that develop skin issues. And years ago, I used to have all these dry patches like on my face, but now they have developed like on my body. And so it's really weird and frustrating. But if I'm going to use product, I want to make sure I am using things that are not going to make them worse, and that's going to help keep them calm. So that is why I truly do love our brand. So give it a go. And I personally recommend, if you've never tried it before, get the Reset. It's called the Reset because I feel like every single evening you need a restart to your day. Like, you're like, you know what? I'm going to end my night and I'm going to reset and I'm going to have a great day tomorrow. Like, you just feel like you need that time. And if you're not a mom, but I always say like a mommy moment, you just need time to yourself. And so that is what it does for me. And I know that's going to do the same for you. So grab up the Reset or any other product. We do have a fragrance mist as well that's really good for your body, your hair, your home. Anything cloth is really good to spray that on. But our scents are cashmere is our best seller. So that's in all of our products. But then we have another one that's like a peppered violet rain, and it is phenomenal. And if you know of like the One Hotel, you can Google search that. It's a beautiful hotel, but that was inspired by that hotel. We stayed there one time in Nashville, and I never could get the scent out of my nose. I was like, this is amazing, and I want this in my product. So that is where it all stems from, and I'm very appreciative for all the customers that we do have, but it is a small brand. So go check out lykebutta.com. That is LYKBUTTAH.com. And that comes from our last name, Lykins, LYKINS. So the Like Butter is really just a great, phenomenal product that we're very proud of. So go check it out and support us. And that is how we are able to keep this podcast going, is that our companies are the number one sponsors, and they always will be. But anyways, we are very appreciative. Thank you. And let's get back to it.
And I remember this like it was yesterday, because I spent 3 years working virtually. And I don't know if that's really the right word, but we commuted to a private school and to another town, like literally 3 towns away from us, almost 4 towns away from us. And I would commute, take the boys there. That was a school of choice that we really wanted them at, and we felt was the best option. And so they had been there since the beginning. And so I had a workspace in a downtown area for 5 years previously to that. So I would drop them off at school and go to work. Like, my office was right there. I had the fridge. I just had everything. It was a great workspace, and I had it by myself, and I loved it, and worked there with a lot of my girlfriends and stuff, and we just had a lot of fun. And my eating habits were really good, and I was like constantly active and just doing stuff. But my job consists of computer work, video content, editing. So I'm doing a lot of sitting. I'm not doing a lot of like running around and makeup and things like that. So I wasn't really like moving constantly. So I really am giving y'all this background because I think it's so important. You have to be really intentional about why you're choosing a GLP-1. And sometimes you've created this life where you've made very bad habits for a long time, and then you just don't know how else to stop. So this is what you want to do. And I respect that. I get it. Like, we're all on different journeys. But for me, I was really confused because I was making good food choices. I had my whole entire life. I'm not a picky eater. I eat really almost anything. Do I love snacks? Yes. I'm more of like a salty, savory type person more than sweet. So I don't choose sugar a lot, but there are times where I definitely want something sweet. But overall, my intake of food was pretty spot on. And I just felt like I had lost control over my body because I was putting the right stuff in my body. And this is also something, I never track my food. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't like to track, and you might feel the same. Let me know. Comment this. If you have to already track something else for your health and be aware of something else for your health, adding another thing on top of that just becomes very mentally like exhausting. I'm mindful, but I am not tracking it. And what I mean by tracking it, I actually saw a video last night. It's very funny. And it was like macros, track your macros. And I was like, I don't even know. People throw around this word macros. I'm like, what does this even mean? Well, it's carbohydrates, fats, and protein. I didn't even know that. So there's so much in the health industry in the world that people are like, do this, do that, do this. I'm like, do you even know what it means? Do you even know why you're doing it? Be aware. And so I have just gotten to a space mentally. I'm like, if it doesn't feel good to me, if it doesn't feel right to me, I'm not going to do it. Or if it does feel right to me and I am ready for it and I do want to do it, then I'm going to do it. No matter what anybody else is saying, you honestly have to choose what you feel is best. And so I had gone through all this like past, right, of just like making good choices that I felt were good choices. And I had maintained a good weight pre-pregnancy, pregnancies, and after and all that. But then your weight fluctuates. The older you get, it fluctuates. So when I hit 35, I felt like my body definitely had changed. My face was changing. My skin was changing. Things were moving and shifting. And then I was like holding weight and fluids in places that I had never experienced that before. My joints were starting to feel a little weird. And I'm like, this is crazy. My sleep was getting really bad. At night, I wasn't able to sleep. And so again, I say all this because it was not overnight that I said, oh, I need to do this. It was literally all of these things. It's like a puzzle. And all of these pieces were all coming together. And I was like, I'm losing control. I'm literally losing control. And at 30, let me go back to why I was driving, why I even brought that up of driving into town. Because my work is very much on a computer or it's just me, I don't have to physically be in a space every day of the week. I would go and I would sit in my truck for 6 hours and I would work as if it was my desk. And I would get out, I would go run errands, I would go to the park, I would go exercise. Like I would do things, but not every single day. So I think that also weighed on my body. I really think that has a lot to do with it as well. But I was eating, I was packing my lunch. I was not eating out. Like I really, like, yes, do we eat out? Yeah. And I would pick up food randomly, but I would make better choices of like, I meal prep and take my food or whatever. So I wasn't like not eating during those times. I was still consuming, but let me say this too. I went back on meat because I just felt like I wasn't getting, all I heard was have protein. And then I was like, oh yeah, protein doesn't have carbs in it. So that would be really good to regulate my blood sugar. So I've shared a lot of just like how I was feeling and where I was and all this. And that leads up to at 39 years old, I went to my doctor, my endocrinologist. And this is the guy that he was there when I was diagnosed. I've been at his office, so he understands my story. And he can see my weight on my chart. I mean, I was 158, 159, like in his office months back. And I just told him, and I was like, listen, I am really tired of my weight. I have tried every avenue to try to get on a weight loss shot. And back then, before I even heard the word Zepbound or Tirzepatide, I was hearing, what is it, Ozempic or Wegovy. I don't even know what that's called. That one. And those were the ones I heard about, or Mounjaro. And you would have to contact your insurance. One, you would have to get a prescription, but I kept hearing no one wants to give it to a type 1 diabetic. No one will give it to me. Oh, you're a type 1? Nope. And I was like, is it really, am I never going to be able to get on this because I'm a diabetic? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, I have a doctor that manages my blood sugar. I'm managing it. It's not going to mess up my blood sugar. It's only going to make it better, because I kept hearing the side effects of like how it's helped type 2s. And I'm like, it can help a type 1. It's not going to be a negative factor. And so, my endocrinologist, I don't know about yours, like if you're seeing one too, but it is a long time for me to get in with him. So it was like over a year that I hadn't seen him. And so finally I have an appointment with him. And in between all that time, I'm trying to figure out how to get this medicine. I can't get it from anybody. Like, nope. I kept like getting all these doors slammed and I was like, well, I'm just going to be a fatty the rest of my life. I'm like, great. I'm like, I just want help with my blood sugar and I just want to lose weight. And I just felt like I didn't know what to do. Or if someone had access, it was going to be like a couple $1,000s. And I'm like, I'm not paying a couple $1,000s. Are we okay? I'm already forced to have to pay a lot of money for my my insulin. I'm like, come on. So I just was like, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. So some of it was me too, because I just wasn't coming out of pocket like that. That's wild. I'm like, and then my insurance was like, we will cover it, but you have to do these brands. And they were like weird off brands that no one had ever heard of. And they were like, and you have to see a health nutritionist with us or something. I was like, no. No, y'all are just trying to control me. No. I want to do what I want to do. So it was just a lot happening emotionally. And I just felt like it just wasn't ever going to happen for me. So I talked to my doctor and he wrote me a prescription for Zepbound. I went to Walgreens to go pick it up and they were like, it's $1,200. I was like, okay, that's awesome. Love that for me. I'm going to do that every month. Cool. And then they were like, but hey, you can go to, I don't know what the name of this company is, but it's a big company that supplies this medication. Starts with an A maybe. I don't even know. It's in our town though, like their headquarters. And I could be misquoting, guys. It could maybe just be a part of their office. I don't know. It looks like a headquarters. It looks pretty big. So they are here. Long story short, you can go to their website and get a coupon code to save $600. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I did that. I was approved for it. And so then I went to Walgreens and then of course, obviously it's going to be like 600. And so I was like, okay, let me just process this. Cause I kept thinking, am I going to be on it for 4 or 5 months? Am I going to be on it for over a year? Do I really want to pay $600 every single month? Like I literally was just trying to think, is this smart, Amber? Like, are we okay? But I kept hitting a wall with like, I had bought all the Lemmy vitamins that you can buy possible. I had bought all the hormonal vitamins that you could ever think of out there. I mean, like every single thing that has to do with a woman's hormonal thing, I got. And I got like curve appetite. Like I got all the things, y'all. I was doing everything. So I was already spending hundreds of dollars, maybe not all at one time, but hundreds of dollars. And I had them things on auto ship. So they were showing up and I'm like, and then I even did like, let me GLP-1. Listen, the whole year plus that I was trying to get on something, I was doing everything. I was walking. I was in the gym. I was jogging. I was eating all the right things. I was doing all my vitamins and nutrition. Like I literally had done all the things, all of them. Okay. I'm sure I'm leaving something off, but all of them to my knowledge and that I had access to or heard about or knew about. And I would always get told by like, I don't know, just a random person. They're like, you're just so beautiful though. And I'm like, I never said I'm not beautiful. I just said I want to lose some weight. Like, you know what I mean? There's a difference in a woman having confidence in herself. If I am underweight, overweight, or normal or whatever, I'm not saying I don't love myself. I'm just saying I want to feel better in my clothes and I want my bones and joints to feel better. Like, I just wanted to feel good. So I find that's very funny because a lot of women will constantly say, you don't need to lose weight. You don't need to lose weight. And I'm like, girl, you do not see me naked every day. So please shut up. You do not see me like when I'm trying to put on a bathing suit or trying to get back into my clothes that I have in my closet that I haven't been able to wear for a couple of years now. Like, it is very, very frustrating and it messes with you as a woman. It's not good for us. And so I just would hear a lot of things and I'm like, you know what? I literally don't care what anybody else says. It's not about anybody. It's about me. And I want to be in control of my body, right? So now we are at the point of this ad popped up on my phone. And I had even told my endocrinologist, I'm like, what if I can find it somewhere else for a better price? Are you cool with that? Like managing that and all? He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like wherever you get it, I'm still going to know you're on it and still going to be able to like manage and watch out for it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I found, and this is a thing too, HIPAA is a thing. Yeah. You can share whatever medical information you want or you don't have to. And I just want y'all to be so understanding of that. Literally, you do not have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to share any medical information. There's literally a word I'm looking for, and it's like a minor word. I don't even know why I'm struggling with this. Disclose. That's the word I'm looking for. You don't have to disclose any information on any of these apps that it's asking you. And I'm just telling you because I feel confident in that. So anyways, your medical information is your medical information. And I needed the medication. So this is how it went. So anyways, an ad popped up. It was one morning, early morning. And I think maybe we were on like a break or maybe Alan had taken the boys to school. I don't know what happened. But I remember seeing an ad on my phone. And then I was like, I'm getting it. I am getting this product today. And it was going to be like $140, $170, something in between that price maybe. And I was like, okay, I can do that, right? I think I got like a discount and then maybe it was going to be like maybe $170 every month. I don't know, something like that. Maybe it was $2 something. Now I can't even remember. I do remember it was under $300. Let me just be clear on that because it was half. I think it was $240. So I'm misquoting my price, but I remember it being less than half of what it was going to cost me at the pharmacist. And Zepbound is the medication, but Tirzepatide is the generic of Zepbound. And it's compounded through a pharmacy, right? So I was like, this is going to be great. I have access to it now. This is perfect. And so I filled out the information. I did not disclose anything that I did not want to. That was nobody else's business. I just answered the questions so I could get accepted. And I did. And you guys, I do not look back on anything. And let me just tell you this. I'm going to talk about the highs and the lows of everything like for the next few minutes though. I had an endocrinologist appointment just the other day. I've seen him twice since I've been on the medicine. And he said, I can tell you're more in control. Everything's looking really good. It was just, everything was on the up and up. And my A1C was really great. My blood sugars were way more regulated. And he was like, I can just tell you're at a different place. But there's 2 things that I've changed. I have started this medicine, doing the GLP-1, Tirzepatide, peptides, all the things that you want to say. That plus I am taking insulin prior to eating food. You're probably like, aren't you supposed to always do that? Yeah, you are, but I don't always. And so I have gotten so strict on myself that my youngest niece, one of my youngest nieces, she said to me, she's like, why are you always on your phone? And she's like young, like 5 or whatever. And she's like, or maybe she's like 7. Anyways, but she's like, why are you always on your phone? And I'm like, well, baby, I have to look at my blood sugar and I always need to know what it's doing and what it says. And then we got in this whole conversation about my pancreas doesn't work, but hers does. And I can go into that one conversation, but it was really cute because it was like, you know, your pancreas is like little ninjas with Nerf guns. And so anytime you eat carbs or sugar or anything in your body, those little ninjas with the Nerf guns, they just start shooting off, right? And they just start killing all the yuckiness that your body doesn't need. And so, but I don't have ninjas. And my ninjas are not there, so they don't have the Nerf guns. So I have to put this insulin in my body. And so this little pen, this shot that I take, these are my ninjas. But I have to know what my body's doing through this number that pops up on my phone. So it tells me if I need ninjas or not. And you don't need that because your body knows if you need them or not. And so we got into this whole thing and it was like, I'm such a big person on analogies because it allows me to understand it in a very simple way. And I love explaining that to like, especially like my boys. And then I got the experience to do that with her. And I thought that was really fun. But so that's where we are. So November, I started injecting. And then for 9 weeks, I was doing the wrong amount. I was basically doing not even, y'all, less than 5 mgs, like tiny 5 units. And I did that for 9 weeks. I felt really good. Inflammation was down, but I just misread and misunderstood for 9 weeks. And I was like, I feel like an idiot. So then I did this whole video about like how I had screwed up. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be taking 75 units and 75 units, I think, something like that. 70 units. I don't know. Yeah. Cause the vial goes up to like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah. So it was like 70 to 75. I was like, that's where I'm supposed to be right now. And my whole like, journey of this, I was like, so I guess I need to take that much this week now that I know that I messed up. So I took that shot and I really messed up because I overdosed. So let me backtrack to the 9 weeks that I did the tiniest amount. My body didn't feel as tight. The inflammation was coming down and I just felt really light. I felt airy. That is the only way I know to explain it. My food intake was still happening, but I really was noticing how I'm just not feeling like I want food. Like I was like, I know I need to eat breakfast. Let me eat. I know I need lunch. Let me eat. But I wasn't like, oh, I'm starving. Do you know what I mean? So like the feeling of hunger in my body was dissipating. It was like crazy, but I was still obviously aware I need to eat food. Or I'd be like, yeah, I'm ready for dinner. I want to cook, like that was still normal. So those 9 weeks, I felt really good. Even though I was doing a really tiny amount, I was basically microdosing. I had never been on it before. So I was like nano microdosing. Like I was barely taking anything. But for someone that had never taken it, it worked for that tiny amount I was doing, but no weight was coming off. So I was really discouraged. I was like, this is really weird. Why is this taking forever to come off? But then I went and did the larger amount, which I never should have done that. But I was just in the moment and I thought, yep, that's what I should do. And so I did it. And for 3 days, I was in my bed and I had the worst headache. I could not uncover my eyes were covered. It was dim light. It was no sound. And I just slept. My husband would bring me broth. I was like, I can't even eat anything, but I would try to get broth and water down. And I was out. Okay. My body was in shock. And so I documented that. It was like awful. Never do that again. I've never gone up that high again. Never. It was way too much. And so then that video popped off on my short form content and a company reached out to me. And they were like, hey, we want to work with you. We want to sponsor your videos and, have you kind of share your message, with everybody about, your journey. And I was like, okay, great. We had a great conversation in January about it. And at that time, I felt like I had back control over, I had went back down to the right amount. Maybe I started back at 30 mgs and everybody, I'm sorry. Yawning. Everybody's going to have to, I've not had coffee today, just FYI. That's why I'm yawning. You will have to look at your prescription and your vial. My prescription goes off of mgs, and then my vial goes off of units. That is how I communicate it. I don't know another way to communicate it. I'm just telling my experience. So when it says 35 mgs, then that means, no, does it say 35 mgs? Or does it say 3.5 mgs? Now I'm confused. I'm confusing myself. Yep. Dang. Yeah, I think it does. I think that's what it says. 75, 10, it'll say 10, 30. Yeah, it'll be like 30 mgs. I think it's what it says. And then I'll do 30 units or something like that. Anyways, please do not take what I'm saying and do that. Just look on your prescription, ask your doctor. So anyways, I went back to like doing the 30, and then I went to doing 50 units in my vial. So I would fill up my syringe, like from the vial, I would fill up my syringe. I'm sorry if I'm saying different words wrong. I apologize because y'all are probably confused. But I would fill up the syringe up to 50, and 50 was my favorite place. And that's when I really started losing weight. Obviously, the week that I overdosed, I mean, my gosh, I lost 7 pounds because, of course, I didn't eat for days and my body was like, in shock. And then after that, I was losing 2 pounds a week, and that was awesome. And then I got to my sweet spot. And so I was losing like 2.5 pounds every single week. And so, dude, in 4 months, I had already lost 30 to 35 pounds. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And so I turned 40 February 7th. And so by my 40th birthday, I was down to, I think I lost 30 pounds. And I just was like, I have myself back. I felt really, really good. And these are some things that I want to talk about also through this. I talked about what made me want to start, what was the breaking point, kind of went over that. Here's what, was I nervous? I was not nervous about it at all. I was actually really excited because I just knew I was going to feel really better. I did not have shame around starting it. That was something else that I knew was always getting asked. And I'm like, no, I never really felt shameful. I never hid it from anybody. I'm an open book when it comes to, there's a lot that me and my family, we keep to ourselves. But when it comes to something like this, I'm like, it's very much in your face. You're going to see I'm losing weight, and I'm not ashamed by it. If you want to lose weight too, I'm going to tell you how I'm doing it. Okay. So I'm going to just give you all the tea. And then, so I was never shamed. I was just excited. And if I got asked, I would just talk about it. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm taking it. Yeah. But I just felt like before it would be like, no one, oh my gosh, there was a situation, a girlfriend was at work, and then, like the lady that was like running this place, she came in, and obviously she looked very different. And they were like, what have you been doing? And she's like, I'm just like back working out, eating right, cut out carbs. Girl, she went and got a shot, and she's been doing shots, and she did not want to tell anybody about it. I'm like, why are women so just not being open with each other? Like, don't be shamed. I was not shamed. I'm like, I don't think anybody should be shamed over it. I think we should hype everybody up. I'm like, do you? I did not hide it from anybody. I did not feel any type of way about judgment. I am having judgment now, and I'm going to hit on that. So, side effects, nausea. I never experienced nausea except for the week that I overdosed, and I did way too much. I couldn't eat. I couldn't see. I couldn't do, girl. And I wasn't like in a state where I needed to be hospitalized. I was just like, I am not well, period. Okay. And so I just kept myself hydrated, and I rested. I communicated with my doctors. Like, everybody was aware of what was going on. And yeah, that was it. Exhaustion. I would notice that I would be like, at night, I am tired. I'm ready for bed. I felt like it really has helped me. Excuse me. I should have poured me coffee. I've noticed that it's helped me sleep and regulate my sleep. So, but never really feeling exhausted from it at all. But when you're not eating the amount of food that you're used to eating, I definitely know that food fuels you. And so sometimes I would just feel a little like fatigued, but not in a way that I couldn't function. But I would just be like, yeah, I know I'm not eating as much. And I didn't snack until I started microdosing again, by the way. I literally was just eating meals. I would choose protein over anything, and I wasn't snacking anymore. I didn't want to snack. I didn't want nothing unless it was like, this is just a meal and I got to get it down. I would say my mood definitely became more stable is what I heard from my family. I'm definitely one of those where I wear my emotions on my sleeve. If I'm pissed, you're going to know it. If I'm happy, you're going to know it. If I'm annoyed, you're going to know it. I'm not one of those that I just like, push it down. I don't know how to do that. I'm just, it is what it is. But I feel like in the world of like doing life, I'm not like that. I'm just like in my home, in my space, Not that I'm trying to like put on a front, but I'm like, I don't think my emotions are anybody else's business necessarily, but like when I'm in my home, in my space, like that's what I'm talking about, my family. And it talks about hair change. I am noticing hair change now. It's been, so November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months. And my hair started shedding a month and a half ago, but every single season, my hair sheds. This is nothing new. I go through shedding seasons for years. So to me, I'm like, is it medicine or is it just my body? I don't know. But it's just shedding. It's not shedding in a horrible way. I mean, I think it's horrible, but it's like if you were compared to other people, I don't know. But anyways, I am trying to find a hair vitamin that's really good. And I feel like I've heard so many different ads. I can't remember the company that it is. So I'm actively trying to figure that out. Muscle loss, any fear on that? Yeah, of course I do have fear on that. I do want to get back in the gym, and our life is about to change. I'm going to have another podcast episode on that, but I definitely am adding more things back into my normal daily routine that's going to allow me to put my fitness as a priority, because I feel like my eating and now my weight has changed. Our life is really like on a good schedule here at home. Like anyways, we're going to start prioritizing more gym time for sure. My hormones are wacko anyways, because I am 40 now, and I have also added NAD into what I'm doing. So yeah, that's really helped me, and I'll kind of talk about that. I'm just trying to cover any questions that were populating up here. I want to talk about what I actually do eat. So let's talk about where I'm at now. So I was losing like 2.5 pounds every single week, and that was really good for me. 50 units was my sweet spot, which I loved. I am now doing 30 to 35, doing my microdosing, and I do that maybe every 10 to 12 days. I will take my Tirzepatide and just do a little bit. It just helps. It's good for maintenance. My body feels really good when I'm on it. And I like it. I'm not scared of gaining weight back at all, actually. It's helping my health, period. And for that, I want to just do a small dose, and I might go down to 20, 25. I don't know. We'll see. But right now I'm just 30, 35. I'm not losing anything. I'm keeping the same weight. So I'm just, I may end up going down to 20, 25. We'll see. And what I eat, I'm a creature of habit, and I highly recommend that you become this when it's food. Our food, I do all the grocery shopping, obviously, like in my home. And, we definitely give input. As a family, I'm just like, is there something y'all are craving or want this week? And if they have a suggestion, then I make that happen, but I try to do it in a healthier way, whatever that looks like. So our meat that we do buy is typically from a farm that's local, that is grass-fed beef or organic chicken from the store that's really good. I don't buy anything that's like has crap in it. Like I've done that life in the past where I'm like, I have to just buy this because it's $4 cheaper. My health can't do that anymore. I can't do it. And it's not worth me doing that to my kids either. So Alan and I have agreed, like, we just buy clean organic meat. That is it. Every now and then, like, he'll go to Sam's and get chicken wings if we're having a big party, because I don't think you can buy chicken wings that are like organic chicken wings. I've not seen them, unless you are going to a farm, but then sometimes they probably don't have them. So there are some things that it's really hard to find. But for our daily intake is all clean meat, period. So it's chicken and it's red meat, and it is typically like sausage somehow. Like we'll have that in meals. And that's it for me. And then I'll buy like turkey or something like that, like good, fresh, clean turkey from the deli. And I don't always do that every single week. That's a hit or miss. And then all of our fruits and vegetables are all non-sprayed. They're organic and clean. And I've been following this rule for a long time, but the sticker on your fruit and vegetables in the store have to start with a 9, and that way you know they've not been sprayed with pesticides and all the yucky crap. There is so much nasty chemicals in food that we're just buying off the shelf that are literally killing us, and we are unaware of, it came from food. Duh. So just clean. As clean as I can get it. That is what I'm buying. If I can get it that clean, I am buying it top shelf, right? But if I can get our garden going really great, we have been very active with wanting a very great garden that produces, and I screwed it up last year. I sprayed this crap on it that I shouldn't have. I was trying to kill all the bugs in a clean way, and I burnt all of our crop. But this year things are coming in. It's really good. But the more we do it, the longer we do it, the more established the garden is, it's going to do great. You know, it's just about the soil and the time that you plant it. It's just a lot of ins and outs, but we want to live off the land as much as we can. Snacks. I only buy like the Annie's brand of organic kid snacks. So if I'm buying them bars or anything like that, that is what I'm getting them. Also, there's a company called Melaleuca I buy all of our cleaning supplies from, but I buy protein bars from them as well. But also I'll get like the Cliff bars too from the store. But then I get Chomp beef sticks as well. Those are good little snacks to have. But our mentality is eat from the fridge, not the pantry. And so our first option is, what can we get from the fridge? Is it fresh fruit? Is it leftovers? Heat up a plate? What is that? If I'm buying pizza, I get cauliflower crust pizza. There is a brand, I think it's called like, I think it does say cauliflower on it. I don't know. There's like this new brand circulating around, and it is delicious, but you cook the pizza on the actual physical rack, not on a pan. It makes it crispy and it's good, and the kids really like it. So I get things that are better choices if I'm doing like popsicles or anything like that. I think Johnny's is a really good brand that I try to have. I'll get the keto ones as well sometimes. And so anyways, there's a good ice cream that they sell in the stores, but now we've come up with how to make a good healthy ice cream at home. A friend of ours shared a recipe that you take the Chobani yogurt, that's 20 grams of protein, and it's the vanilla flavor, and there's something that's not in it. So it's just like a better option, and buy the big pint of that. But you take that in like a food processor type of thing and add it with frozen fruit, and it's delish. It's like homemade ice cream. So, but you're getting all the better benefits to it. So we do buy yogurt. I buy plant-based, grass-fed, not plant-based, but grass-fed cheese. So we just have good staples, but I always am making meals. So like breakfast is typically like the kids can make oatmeal or eggs and toast or something like that, and then some type of breakfast meat. And then lunches is typically like a leftover, or we'll throw a pizza in, or sometimes they want a circle sandwich, which is basically peanut butter and jelly cut into a circle. But I don't really do that often. That's like very random. I try to make them a good like vegetable, meat, and a fruit on a plate, and then maybe like sourdough bread or something on the side. Snacks, like have an avocado. I had ChatGPT do this. I typed up a whole thing and I was like, okay, these are my kids' ages and I want for their age and their weight, what are things that they need to have in their everyday diet so they are understanding food. I want our kids, now that we're going to be more living like this home lifestyle, is how our kids can choose better foods and like what's a good healthy fat, what's good carbs, what's good sugars, what's protein, like all those things. So we have a chart now on the fridge. And so I'm like, these are kind of examples, and then we can kind of play off of that. But that's been a really good inspiration for them, like finding food in the kitchen to make them a yummy plate or cook them a meal that they really have enjoyed. So that's kind of on the trend of, I don't know how I got there, because what do I eat? Those are things that I eat on this GLP-1. I am eating real food. I am not eating like going through drive-thrus, you guys. If I go to a drive-thru, let me just give you some examples. Chick-fil-A, I do their grilled filet like you would get on a sandwich, and I do 2 grilled fillets, sometimes just 1, and I'll put bacon and cheese on it. That's it. And then I'll do kale. I'm not getting a whole combo with fries and bread and all this crap. I ain't doing it. It makes me feel like garbage. It's not good. And then like if I go to Wendy's and they want a burger or something, I'll just get two just meat patties. That's it, with cheese on them. That's my food. That's my burger. And Panera, they have good Greek salads I'll get from them, French onion soup, things like that. They have good chicken salad as well. If you have to eat out, I am literally asking the place. I'm not going off of their menu. I'm not going, oh, I want a number 2. I'm not. I am telling them what I would like to eat. Now, I know y'all have this here. How can y'all ring it up in your cash register to make it possible for me as a customer to order that from you guys? So I'm like, listen, I don't want all the bread. I don't want all the sides. This is what I want. Now, I will be frank with you. They will probably still charge you as if you were buying a combo. But you know what? I'm cool with that, because if I order a combo, I ain't eating all of it. You know, I ain't eating all of it, and it's going to make me feel like crap. So I'm just very aware of, I'm okay if it's going to be the same cost. So just be mindful of that. And sometimes it's not, but I just want you to know. And if we go to a restaurant, like a steakhouse or something, I mean, I'm getting steak and a sweet potato. Sweet potato is better than a baked potato. I mean, personally to me, taste as well. And a salad. Like, I just don't need all the things, or like vegetables on the side or whatever. But honestly, I don't love eating out because I just feel like it doesn't taste good, and I'd rather eat at home. So you can also buy canned chicken. I love to online shop. That's what I do when I order my groceries. And I literally type in organic before everything. Organic vegetables, and then all of the organic veggies pop up. Organic snacks, they all pop up. Organic fruits, they all pop up. Organic chicken, organic meat, like it all pops up. There are so many brands. We are in 2026. If you're not buying clean food, I don't know why. I literally don't understand why. Maybe because you just don't care, and that's fine. That's on you. Do as you need. But I'm like, I just want to buy the cleanest food that I can have. If it's not coming from my backyard and our garden, then I want to make sure it is clean from somewhere else. So that's that. Other side effects on GLP-1 that I can kind of maybe give you some advice on. When you take it, I started taking it, injecting in my stomach, and I stopped doing that. Now I do my thigh, because my stomach, I felt like had so so much abuse from shots because that's where I inject my insulin, but I don't anymore. And I noticed a video popped up of someone else going through the same thing. And they were like, did you realize that you can build up a fat tissue or just like tissue around the areas that you constantly inject, and you're not actually getting the medicine in your body? And I'm like it's not doing what it needs to do. And I was like, oh crap, like it's being blocked. So I was like, let me just do my thigh. So I started doing like my upper cheek and my thigh, and I can kind of access my thigh pretty easily too if we're out and about to give myself an injection. Or I do my upper waist, like I'll just grab a good fat pocket right there and give an injection. But when I'm at home doing my GLP-1 peptide, Tirzepatide, whatever you want to call it, I do my thigh, and I like it. I don't mind that at all. I did bruise a little bit sometimes, but it wasn't bad. It was fine. It still did what it needed to do. And then make sure I use my Google Calendar and I put in there what day I'm on, like my journey. If it's day 5 or I just hit over day 200. Isn't that wild? So I'm like at 208 or something like that. I'm like, that's crazy. I always have those in my calendar, so I kind of know where I'm at. And then I'll put like, oh, I did a shot on Monday, so I need to do a shot next Monday. Depending on if you're doing it every week. But I just put like what day I do a shot, because now I don't need to be like every single week tight like that. I can be a little loose. So now I want to tell you though really quickly why I started NAD. I talked about earlier how I would notice like a little bit of fatigue, but I was feeling a little like I want to heal my cells in my body and I want to heal my brain. And if this is a start down that path, that's the path I want to take. So NAD helps with cellular healing from the inside, helps with brain fog and fatigue as well, and lots of other benefits to it. But those are the main benefits for me that I was interested in. And so I also got that. If y'all want to know, by the way, where I get all my stuff from, it's going to be linked in these show notes. I'll just put a link, but my link tree, most influencers online do have a link tree or some type of concept of that, but that is where I house like all the important places that you can go to find what I discuss. So it'll have my link tree there, and just click on that, and then you'll see my link to get a discount off of your start on, whatever you want to start with. So I really think that NAD has been very, very effective. My sister said to me, it was like a week on it, and she had not said one thing to me about it. But she was like, I can tell you seem a little bit more calm and like chill. I can tell it's working. And I'm like, what? I was like, I could tell I felt really good, but I didn't notice like she had noticed. And my sister's been living here with her family for almost 3 years. They were in the process of building a home. And if you know our story at all, you've kind of heard it, but they will be, they are purchasing a home now instead of building. It was a nightmare experience, and their contractor screwed them and stole lots of money. And he is still not in trouble for it. So it's just wild. But I think daily he's probably battling a lot, and has a lot of lawsuits and things going on. But anyways, you'll have to follow my sister's story for that one. But they are going to be moving out soon. But I say all that because she sees me all the time, and she knows. And so for her to say that was kind of a big deal. I was like, what? That's crazy. So yeah, that's the gist, you guys. I know my health journey is not stopping. This is only the beginning. I'm really looking forward to building muscle, getting in the gym and being active. I've had, a couple personal trainers that I've communicated with. One lives in Florida that just like found me online. Another girl I've connected with and kind of known her for a few years and didn't really realize it of like what she did and all that. I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I remember. So I really would love to eventually have a trainer, but right now I'm just in the space where like, I just need to get in the gym. Like I just need to get myself in the gym. That's where I kind of mess up. I don't know if you are like me, but I have to start it myself. And for me to start it and like be consistent with it for a while, then I'm like, okay, now we can add the next thing on to that. Something about that just makes me feel like it was my decision and I didn't feel forced into doing it. It feels more of like I enjoy it. And I personally really enjoy working out. I don't mind it. I think when you're in it, you're like, ugh, it sucks. But it makes me feel really good. So I'm excited about that. We went through a spell of like everybody was sick. Like we had like this sickness going on. That was 1 week. Then the next week it was like the last days of school that was going on. Now we had like our first official week of summer. I think everybody was like decompressing. And y'all, I went room to room in this house. Every cabinet and every drawer and every room got reorganized. Everything got pulled out and it looked a disaster before it looked better. And then I put it all back and we had multiple trash bags. I was like, I'm done. And so I just finished that last week. And now this week, I'm just trying to get caught up with work. So I feel like every week is like a new thing, but I just have to get it into my schedule. And I know that's going to happen. So my health journey is not ending. And this is a lifestyle. Again, that's what I've said. This is a lifestyle. This is not a quick fix at all. So thank you for being here. My gosh, this podcast is so fun for me. And I am really trying to get myself back on a really good schedule to have weekly uploads. And it's just scheduling. It's making everybody's schedules work because we are at home a lot together. And I record in our lounge, which is like one of the rooms in the dead center of our home. So I thank you for being here and supporting the podcast. Share this with a friend, a bestie, a mom, a parent, anybody. I don't necessarily recommend that this podcast is great for like your whole family and kids because we talk about a lot of things, but today was a really easy breezy conversation I think anybody could listen to. But make sure you do hit subscribe, and I thank you for being here. And any questions or anything, always ask and follow along. I do recommend following our Instagram because I do put questions in the stories and then you can give input. Like last week we had like the week prior to this, we had the Mother's Day special and y'all wrote in some really amazing stories and I shared those. So anyways, thank you guys so much and you're the best. And I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Love you.